Hey, buddy, how are you? How you doing?
Hey Ken, where you been?
Hey, Harold.
Where have you been? Montana?
I can't hear anybody, so
Oh.
What happened to your hand? Or what happened to your hand?
Oh, I had a little procedure on it. No big deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Ken. Can you hear us now?
now I can. How was Eretz
Yeah.
Yisrael?
Beautiful. Very nice. Your kids are great.
Thank you for taking them. I appreciate it.
They're fun.
hope-
They're fun.
I hope Akiva didn't eat you out of house and home.
No. He was both were very nice. Very fine.
Good. Cassie and I are going Sunday on our way.
Oh, great. For how long?
Just the week.
Okay.
Thanksgiving in Israel.
Oh, thanks. They have turkey.
I don't know. Turkey kind of feels like ostrich to me, like, oof.
You have to cover it up with other flavors. You got to kill it.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with shawarma.
Were you in Montana lately?
No, but a tree fell on my house.
Oh no, is that good or bad?
Not awful, meaning it's a lot of firewood. So I have $2,000 worth of firewood stacked up now.
Uh-huh.
I have a few broken shingles, but it seems okay. Maybe, but it's interesting.
You think
We
some?
were on the Upper West Side for Shabbos.
Oh, how was that?
It's so interesting. It's just a much more interesting community than ours. You know what I mean? It's just like someone comes out of shul in a yarmulke, they get in a car. Someone hails a cab.
And that's the rabbi.
It was Shlomo Karlbach's 28th yortzeit, and I davened in the Karlbach shul Friday night.
Nice. Wow.
So it was endless, but it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful davening.
Wow.
This guy Eli Beer davened from the Amud.
Oh, Eli Beer, yeah, from what's it called? Hatzalah.
He was great.
Yeah.
I had Kiddush by Mordechai Hager.
Oh, nice. Any special reason why you went to Upper West Side for Shabbos?
Yeah, Cassie's brother that made Ochasna Motzi Shabbos in the city.
Oh,
so
nice.
They live in the city. They live on the Upper West Side. So we spent Shabbos together as a family and then rushed off to the Chasna Motzi Shabbos.
Oh, nice.
It was in Tribeca, top of this building in Tribeca.
Yeah.
So it was good. I mean, it was fabulous. It was beautiful.
You took the subway to get there?
No, but many people did from Manhattan. I was like, I'm not stepping foot on the subway with a wife with jewelry.
It's the easiest way to get around. Unfortunately, too many crazy people.
Yeah, they got there. The people that went on the subway got there faster than we did in an Uber.
Of course, yeah.
Whatever.
So you were very hip.
I was so hip.
So hip.
I was so hip. I went with my 25-year-old girlfriend, whose name is Cassie. But I will tell you, the city is, I was shocked how many young people live in the city. It's shocking.
How many
The
young
city is
people?
so young.
Yeah.
It's just everyone in the city is young. I felt like I was the oldest person in New York City.
I don't know how they afford it. It's so expensive to live there too.
No idea, but everywhere you go, people are spending money. There's within. We stayed at the boutique hotel in 76th and West End, between West End and Broadway. Within one block, there was an Equinox, a Starbucks, kosher place for breakfast that was delicious, shul. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, people must, the Eruv must be better now because people are carrying all over the place.
It was an issue before, and it was an issue.
Yeah. With Moshe Tasha, no way.
Rav Moshe didn't matir an Eruv in Manhattan.
So I've been to Manhattan many times for Shabbos. So Cassie and I were just there over the weekend. I'm sorry to take so much time here. I didn't know you were on. But I see now it's prevalent. People carry.
What's Equinox?
Equinox is a fancy gym.
Oh, and Orthodox Jews use it?
Yes, I was not the only Orthodox Jew there by a long shot. Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't have separate hours, but
Not yet.
Okay, we're on your test, Aleph 19. Omerle Abaya, b'mayu kim to l'sofik naziris lahakel. How did you set up the Mishnah? Where remember if someone made a neder which was stam, means we didn't know for sure what he meant. So then we would go lakula. How did you set it up, Rabbi Ezer? Right. So aim a seifa. Look at the seifa of the Mishnah we quoted. Sofek b'choros. You have an animal. Maybe it's a bechor, maybe it's not. Echad b'chorei adam. It could be the firstborn of a person, and you don't know whether you need pidyon ben. Echad b'chor behema, ben tmeya ben tohira. Whether the animal is kosher, like Peter Chamor is tmeya, and a cow and a sheep are kosher. So in these cases, we say amotzi mechaver alav araya. The Kohen can't just take the animal as a bechor unless he brings proof that it is a bechor. V'tani alei v'asurim begiz v'avoda. But you treat them in the dinim of a bechor, even though regarding monetary issue, it's a suffix regarding whether the Kohen could take it, we still treat it l'chumra regarding not being allowed to shear it and not allowed to work it. So, a bechor is different because it becomes kadosh without anybody saying anything about it. You don't say arezu bechor. It's a bechor because by virtue of it being a firstborn. That's different than a case where a person makes a neder to say something is kadosh. So Eli kasha hakasha. You want to have a problem? I'll show you the problem. Sufik mashkin. You have fluid, and we're not sure whether the fluid, somebody touched it who was tomei or not. So li tomei, for the beverage itself to become tomei, that we say is tomei. But for it to have the power to be metame something else, l'tamei acherim tohar. Div Rab Meir. V'chein Rabbi Elazar Omer kidvar. And Rabbi Elazar said the same thing. Now, umisvira le Rabbi Elazar l'tamei tamei. Does Rabbi Elazar say that if it's a suffix, it becomes tamei v'atay? Rabbi Elazar Omer ain't tumah mashkin kol liquor. The beverage, if it's a suffix, doesn't become tum at all. Teda sharei hey Yosef ben Yoezer eats straight al el kamsa dechein. That the beverage the blood of a grasshopper would be tor. And the blood in the Beis Hamikdash would be considered tor, because the whole concept of tumas mashkin is midrabana, and the Chachamim did not make exer in the Beis Hamikdash. So how can you say that a suffix mashkin is tamei? It would be lahakil. So Shmuel had that the beverage is tar in terms of the ability to metame something else. Aval tumas atzman yesh behen shapir. So then it works out. Rabbi Eliezer would be moided that tuma is chal even midaraisa. Ela Rav Domer Dachen Mamish, that the beverage is completely tor Michael Meimar. Then we have a stira in Rabbi Eliezer. Ela Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon. It's not machloikas Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Meir. Rather, it's a different machloikas. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon Tanya. Hareni Nazir im yesh bakriya ze mea kor. There's a there's a pile of wheat in front of a person. He says, I'll be a Nazir if there's 100 core of wheat. And when you go to count it, it was stolen or lost. We don't know what was there. Rav Yehuda Matir. Rav Yehuda says that he does not become a Nazir because Safik Nazir is lahakil. Reb Shimon Oyser, and Reb Shimon would hold that Safik Nazir is lechumra. Now, before we get into further discussion, the Gemara brings a steer in Rabbi Yehuda. Rami Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yehuda. Miyam Rabbi Yehuda lo ma'ayil inish nafshel nisfeke. Is it true that a person is not going to put himself in the middle of a suffix? So that regarding the pile of wheat, if it's not clear how big it was, there's no naziris. A person says, I want this loaf of bread to be also to me like truma. So Yehuda also in Judea, the loaf of bread would be osir, because they would think that he was referring to truma salishka, which is a davra nodur. Uva Galil muteres, because they don't know about truma salishka. They only know about giving truma to kohanim, which is not a davra nodur. She'ein an she'akol makirin is truma salishka. Now, time of they makir. The only reason we say that it's mutter because they're not makir. Ha makirin osir, even though he said truma stam, and we don't really. It's begetter suffix. So Amar Rava, Gabi Creek Sovar, Kol Shesfekel Chomer Mivadai. If the item as a suffix is more stringent than something that was vadai, lo ma'ayel nafshe l'sfeika. A person is not going to stick himself into that situation. Now, how is something suffix more chomer than something vadai? The ilu gabi nazir vadai. When someone declared naziris, for sure, there's an end to his naziris. At the end of 30 days, megalea, he takes a haircut. Umevi korban v'nechal. He brings the korbanos, and he can eat the korbanos. So he can get out of his naziris. Al sfeiko lo matzi megalea. If you're suffix nazir, you can never take a haircut, because you're going to end up, we're not sure whether you were really a nazir, because it's a suffix. You can't bring korbanos because you're going to bring chulin lazara. So since you can't bring a korban, you can't take a haircut. So you got to live with long hair for the rest of your life. It's a case where suffix is worse than vadai. That's only...
but nazir, but he can never be more. I can understand by korban, but by shaving, it would never be. Even if it was, it would never be more than 30.
You can't shave unless you bring a korban. So since he can't bring a korban, he can't shave.
And what we learned before, I think, if he shaves first, you can still bring a korban afterwards, no?
No, he can't shave unless he can bring the korbanos. Because you got to burn the hair under the fire of the pot of the shlomim.
So
So the shaving is connected to the korbanos.
I
Since he
see.
can't bring a korban because he cannot bring chol and lazara, he can never shave. That's the example where a safek nazir is more chomer than a vaday nazir. So
And he could be misnadev a korban and then kind of just burn his hair when he's bringing a nadava or something like that.
it's got to be the three set of naziris, shlomim, oil, and chatas. They have to be brought l'shem naziris. You have to be chayiv as a nazir, and since he might not be a true nazir, he's not chayiv to bring those korbanos. It's like somebody brings a chatas, and he had never eaten chaylev b'shogeg. If you bring that animal in, and you're not chayiv a chatas. Therefore, when you bring that animal to the Beis Hamikdash, you're bringing chul and lazara. Same case here.
What he should do is to become a nazir, then to be able to shave. He'll be a vade nazir, to become a nazir, but vade nazir, and then he'll be able to shave. But can he do that? I mean,
Yeah, but remember, there is no naziris on top of naziris unless you use special phraseology. That could be a way, but you may not be able to declare a new naziris until you get out of this naziris. So the Gemara says, Omar, but if a person declared him to be a permanent nazir, then there would be no example where a safek nazir is worth an avadai nazir. So Omar lei nazir oilam nami sveika chomer mivadai. A permanent nazir, a safek nazir oilam, is also worse. Dilavadai. Hichbid saru mekel betar mevi shalosh behemoths. And nazir oilam, like by Avshalom, if his hair gets so heavy, he's allowed to cut it and then bring korbanos and continue with his naziris. With safek nazir oilam, he'd never be able to take a haircut. So,
Ernie,
yes,
Samson was a safek nazir or not?
no. So Shimshon was a special nazir who was a nazir from the womb.
Oh,
Only one case in history.
okay.
You can't declare.
his mother made him, right?
Right. So the Gemara says, Amar Hareini Nazir Shimshon Mai. The Gemara wants to say, fine, a Nazir Oilam, a Safek Nazir Oilam is still worse than a Vadai Nazir Oilam. What about Nazir Shimshon? Amar Lei Nazir Shimshon Lo Tanya. It's not, the Chacham never talked about Nazir Shimshon. It was not a real Naziris. It was a special Hoyrah Shah from Shamayim regarding Shimshon. And a person cannot become a Nazir Shimshon. Amar Lei. Ravada Barava Tanya Nazir Shimshon. Ravada Barava has a baraisa where they do discuss Nazir Shimshon. Amar Lei Tanya. I can't go against the baraisa. So there would be no example where the suffix is worse than the vadai. Ravashi Omer Ahi Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rav Tarfani, that when we said that a person declared that I would be a nazir if there were 100 bushels in this mound of wheat, and then it got stolen or lost, so we don't know what was there. So we said,
Machlokas.
we said there was a machlokas. So Rabbi Yehuda is going to be like Rav Tarfon. That Rabbi Yehuda is Rav Tarfon. The Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rav Tarfon Noimer. Ein echad mehem nazir. Where there were two people standing and said, I'm going to be a nazir if Chaim Yankel over there stands next to this guy. And the other, so we don't know really what they're talking about. You need to know exactly bevados and clearly what the guy is making the neder about. And since you make a t'nai that's not understood, you didn't do it by flaw. And similarly, regarding this pile of bushel of wheat, where it wasn't clear how much was in the kri, that's the reason why there's no chalois naziris. So then in any case, it should have worked. It should have been a problem naziris, even if it wasn't stolen or lost. Even since it's not clear what it is, that alone should disqualify it. Enachanami, says the Gemara, to show you how far Reb Shimon the other side goes. The afagav the nignav the sha'avik savar ma'ayil in the nafshel. He says a person will be machdas himself nesap, and he holds that there will be a chalois naziris even in that case. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Stam Truma Yehuda, that it depends Yehuda and Galil, and we said hamakirin, if they knew in Yehuda, if they knew in Galil about the Truma Salishka, it would be Asur as well. Alma Sfeika L'chumra. That seems to imply that the neder that is made b'safek, where we don't know what he meant, is L'chumra. Ema Sefer. So say the Sefer of the Mishnah. Stam Charamim, person says, I want this loaf of bread to be to me like a cherem. Again, there were two types of cherem. Cherem to Kohanim and cherem to the Beis HaMikdash. To the Beis HaMikdash, it's a Dovra Nadir. To the Kohanim, it's not. It becomes their personal property. So he said, Yehuda Mutarim, because they didn't know about cherem and Mikdash, Uvegolel Asurim. She'ein Anshe HaGolel Makirin es cherem HaKohanim. HaMakirin Mutarim. That implies that if in the Galil, they knew about the din of cherem Kohanim, it would not be good neder. Almas fake lakula. So the Mishnah seems to be internally contradictory. The Reisha implies that Safik l'chumra, and the Seifa implies Safik l'kul. Amr Abaya, Seifa is a different shita. Seifa is Rab Tzadiki, the Tanya, Rab Yehuda Omer. Stam truma b'Yehuda asura. If a person just says, I want this loaf of bread to be like truma, so there they knew that truma salishka, it's a davar anadir, and therefore the loaf would be asur. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Tzadok, stam charamim b'galil asurim. If a person said this loaf of bread should be like cherem, in the Galil they knew about making a vow to the Beis HaMikdash, so it's a davar anadir. So the shita that stam charamim b'galil is asur is a shita. Well, there's Rabbi Tzadok, it's not Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore it's not a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda. Okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow 7:30.